An honest old friend, a merry old song, flask of old Portland, with the night long. Flask of old Portland, with the night long. Laugh at the anger, those who repine. Laugh at the anger, those who repine. They must drink porter, while I can drink wine. They must drink porter, while I can drink wine.
The Winans, a family of Dutch heritage, is rooted deep back to 1643 when matriarch Susannah Melyn was baptized in New Amsterdam, the first of her family born in America, and back to 1653 when patriarch Jan Winans voyaged from the Netherlands to Connecticut at around 13 years old. He would marry Susanna, daughter of Cornelius Melyn, the patroon of Staten Island, August 6, 1664 in New Haven, Connecticut. The Melyns were a prominent Dutch family, and it was a good match, as they would have 9 children together. It is believed John Winans was born in 1640 in the Netherlands. However, details of his early life are sketchy at best. This does lead to some legends that have been passed down through the family, but his descendants readily admit none of these are verifiable. We will respect the Winans legends here and share them with you. There has been speculation by some that John Sr., aka Jan, was kin either the son or nephew of the famous Dutch landscape artist Jan Winans. Another family legend that also may seem incredible is that the Winans are descended from the line of King Canute of England and Denmark. King Canute was quite the confident man, overconfident that is. As the story goes, he believed himself omnipotent, and to prove it, he would challenge the sea by having himself on his throne placed in front of the incoming tide, where he proceeded to command the waters to recede. They did not recede, and he nearly drowned. The next 2 items apparently have been a matter of topic through the generations of the Winans. These 2 stories revolve around Jan's reasons for leaving his native Netherlands. The first story is about an unscrupulous relative who was plotting his murder in order to gain his inheritance. To do that, the inheritance would need to be reasonably sizable. If this one is true, perhaps he was kin with Jan Winans. The second one, not so fantastic. The legend says Jan and his brother fled to America to escape arrest for rioting. Though not fantastic in nature, there is 2 issues I'd have with this one. This was the only mention of his brother whom supposedly fled with him. Perhaps he faced mortality during the journey as an explanation. The second issue I have is based on his Puritan beliefs and his nature as described by contemporaries. I don't think he would have rashly rioted. It is surely possible that he would have justifiably rioted, but then I couldn't see him running. The matriarch Susannah Melyn Winans' lineage is not in question, and the status of her family perhaps warrants some truth to the family legends surrounding Jan. I quote from descendant Orin Clifford Winans' work, Winans Family Genealogy and History of Descendants of John Winans and Susannah Melyn. Cornelius Melyn, father of Susanna, a scion of old and prestigious family of Antwerp in the Netherlands, was born about 1602. In 1639 he sailed to New Amsterdam. He was attracted to Staten Island, upon which only 1 or 2 grants had been made. In 1640 he applied to the West India Company for a grant for the rest of the island. The grant was favorably entertained. About 1641 he brought his family to the New World. His family at the time consisted of his wife, a daughter, and 2 sons. Cornelius Melyn was an important man in the settlement of New Amsterdam. He was patroon of Staten Island from 1639 to 1659. In 1646 he cultivated the site of the present Trinity Church of New York. There is a report that the Racine Indians sold Staten Island 3 times and that Cornelius Melyn was the 3rd customer in 1644. Jan chose to start their family in the New English Charter of East Jersey in the first English settlement of Elizabethtown. He became one of the original 80 associates to settle Elizabethtown in 1664, purchasing land from the Lenni Lenape in what would become Linden. He signed the Oath of Allegiance on February 19, 1665. Elizabethtown Later Linden would serve well as the cradle for the Winans folk. Jan was a Puritan, and the Elizabethtown tract was to be a Puritan settlement. Also, Susanna's family and a sizable Dutch community lived right over the Arthur Kill in Staten Island. Jan's original holdings were approximately 200 acres. His and Susanna's homestead was centered somewhere on the north side of the Rosedale Cemetery near the creek. In the 20th century, most of the Winans acreage was bought up by Standard Oil. However, the family did sell parts of the north end of the original Winans partition in the 1800s. In colonial times, everyone farmed their land, usually as family business. However, many of the original associates also had other professions. Occasionally during this period, wealthier landowners with other profitable businesses would rent out land for neighbors with smaller holdings to farm. Winans didn't do this, although Jan did have another very lucrative profession that kept him very busy. He was a weaver, and by all accounts, an extremely good one. He also had a total of 6 sons with Susanna, and 1 more from his second marriage. These set of hands helped the family to become prosperous. Most of Elizabethtown and Wheatchief neighborhood folks regarded Jan in high esteem. It is noted that he was very active in public life in terms of associate meetings, planning, and projects. I found that he was an industrious man who received superior education in his youth, a trait he passed on to his progeny. For many generations after Jan and Susanna, the Winans family owned and operated many large farms as the family spread. Many descendants also were engaged in public affairs, holding office, and having careers in addition to their family farms, all following in the footsteps of the patriarch. After around 25 years of successful and bountiful marriage, Susanna passed away. The best available information put her death between 1687 and 1693, and the cause is lost to time. It is believed after Jan's death in 1694, they were buried side by side, either under the floor or near the walls of the original Elizabethtown church and meeting hall. There have been several churches built over this spot, which became the First Presbyterian in 1717, then rebuilt in 1727. Then again after the Tory rascals torched that one during the Revolutionary War, and so on. Jan was married again in 1693 to Anne Robinson, daughter of the physician and wealthy landowner William Robinson, for whom the Robinson branch of the Roy River is named. His 1690 plantation house remains today and serves as a museum in Clark, New Jersey, off of Madison Hill Road. The couple had 1 son, William, born in 1694. I've been unable to find any more information on Anne as anything relating to their union, including her mortality, but we know, despite of the loss of his gravesite, that Jan died in December of 1694 because of accounting of his holdings at this time of death. He had amassed his original 200 acres in Elizabethtown, now in Linden, 16 acres on the Neck, also in today's Linden, and 120 acres on Peach Meadow Brook. A large inventory taken of Jan Winans' estate lists household items, livestock, lots of silver and gold. Counted in all was a value of 271 pounds, 15 shillings, and 8 pence. Jan and Susanna had 2 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren known to have fought in the Revolutionary War.